sliding right back out.
So you're just flushing it with like 15 mils, and that's where...
These are 10 mLs, and really just enough.
Just to see...
5.
Okay.
Yeah. Just enough to clear the line.
Okay.
And make sure, you don't, nothing puffs up on you. From here, what you can do is take alcohol swab. Clean off your site. And this isn't sterile. Putting an IV is not a sterile technique. It's aseptic. IVs, the guideline for a long time was 4 days. And now the newer guideline is, not every hospital's caught up with the newer guideline, but they can stay in for until they stop working or until you see phlebitis. Usually patients aren't going to stay that long where they're going to have an IV in for like weeks and weeks. But you can keep IVs in longer. It's all basically up to the hospital's policy at this point. But 4 days is probably what's in your book. That's what was initially the sort of the standard guideline. So you have this in here. Then you get your dressing. There's another product. It's like a skin prep, and it's like this sticky stuff. A lot of the kits have that in it for IVs and for other products. Sometimes you can swab the outside with the sticky stuff. It makes the dressing stick longer. If you have patients that are real sweaty, it helps that dressing stay on. And the goal here for pinning this down is you want this tang pointed up so it's not pushing in the patient. And you want to cover the insertion site most. You want to make sure the insertion site's covered, and then whatever else you can get to cover the dressing is sort of extra. So you just go on like that. And these kind of dressings, they're called Tegaderm, or they're called an occlusive dressing, the clear ones. And you're going to see all different variations of them, but they all basically kind of go on the same way. They'll have a backside that peels off, and then they'll have a, usually a top part that you peel off. So now you got it in, and then what I like to do is tape it up real well, because you don't want this thing coming out. So usually what I'll do is, a lot of the dressings will have some extra pieces of tape to secure it, but usually I'll put a big kind of fat piece over here. And then you can pin it down underneath like this. And some of the dressing manufacturers actually have a little piece that goes underneath. So that holds it in. You're going to see a lot of different variations of the way people tape it up. This is what works for me the best.
You just put the underneath piece on the edge of the Tegaderm?
Underneath, and then you'll tack it. So a little bit's touching the skin, a little bit's touching the Tegaderm.
Okay, yeah.
And that just kind of keeps it from pulling back. And then from here, what I usually do is tape it up sort of like that. That way, if the person's hooked up to their IV pole and they snag on something, you got a little bit of distance before this thing actually, starts pulling out of the skin. And you're going to see all kinds of variations of this. Every nurse has their own way of doing this. There's going to be like ones like this, where like nurses will tape it up like this. Some of them will tape it down the arm. You're going to see like every variation under the sun, but this is what has always worked for me. And don't be afraid to use too much tape, because there's the time and energy it takes to put one of these in. It's over the course of a day. If you got to change out a bunch of IVs, it's gonna use up a lot of your time. So anything you can do to keep this IV in, keep it working, keep it from moving around, it's going to save you time over the course of your day.